Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are pulling back the curtain on something most of us use but maybe don't think about too much. Calendar invites.
Yeah, but not just sending one or two. We're talking about the tech behind
Yeah.
managing them at massive scale.
Exactly. The sources call it the calendar invite server stack. It's this kind of invisible infrastructure, but it's absolutely critical for, big events, marketing campaigns, even just large company meetings.
It really is the hidden engine. You think, oh, Outlook handles that or Google Calendar.
Yeah.
And sure, for one invite, it does.
Right.
But what if you need to track RSVPs in real time for like hundreds of events?
Yeah.
The demo notes mentioned tracking all 272 NFL games.
Simultaneously.
Correct. Yeah, that's different. That's enterprise scale.
That needs serious architecture.
So that's our mission today, then, to really unpack that complexity. We're
Yeah.
looking at this AWS-based system, 9 APIs, the works.
Right, covering the whole life cycle.
Yeah.
Create, send, track the RSVPs, handle updates, cancellations, everything. And we need to figure out how this, tech stack actually connects to real-world marketing. Email, web, apps, the whole deal.
And interestingly, at the very center of all this, this apparent complexity, there's actually a core simplicity,
Oh.
a single primary REST API. Everything funnels through it. It's like the conductor.
The single source of truth for the event.
That's the idea. That's what makes it work.
Okay, let's dive into that, because when you say massive API architecture, I'm picturing developers wrestling with complex JSON or special web forms just to get started.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But the very point here is, well, it's surprisingly elegant, familiar even.
How so?
It's actually brilliantly simple. The organizer, the person setting up the event, they don't learn some new proprietary thing.
Right.
They just use their normal Calendar client, Google Calendar, Outlook, whatever they already use.
How does the data get to the server stack?
They just send the event invite to a special email address, like a Dropbox address. The demo used something like create@calnac.com.
Wait, really? The whole sophisticated AWS thing gets kicked off by just sending an email?
Seems almost too simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That kind of hides the complexity.
it does beautifully. So that email arrives, it hits the API gateway, and that's where the real work starts instantly.
Okay, so what happens then? Under the hood.
The data gets immediately disassembled. It uses a series of ETL processes.
ETL, extract, transform, load. Okay.
Exactly. Fancy way of saying. We extract the event details from the email, transform it, clean it up, make it structured
Now
data,
we'll load it where?
and then we load it into storage, specifically the AWS storage subsystem.
So like standard databases.
We're talking two main things here, DynamoDB and S3.
Ah, okay. AWS staples.
Right, S3, that's simple storage service. It's great for the bigger sort of static parts, like the message body, attachments, maybe.
Makes sense.
But DynamoDB, that's the NoSQL one. We use that for the event metadata and, crucially, the tracking data. Because later, you need super fast writes when those RSVPs come flooding in.
Right, that choice of DynamoDB that hints at the scale, needing that speed for potentially millions of responses.
Definitely.
Now, you mentioned earlier the intellectual property, the secret sauce, that happens here, right, during storage?
Correct. This is where the system generates these unique calendar invite API codes.
Okay.
Think of this code as the master key for that specific event's single source of truth. And crucially, these codes store the UIDs, the unique identifiers from the original calendar invite itself.
So the API code lets the system find the exact current data for that event later on, completely separate from the organizer's own calendar.
Precisely. It's the link. It tethers the system's knowledge to that specific event instance.
And what I found kind of amazing in the notes was the flexibility here. The organizer can just keep changing things.
Oh yeah, unlimited updates before it gets sent out, that is.
Unlimited. How do those changes get back in without messing everything up?
It just uses the same process,
Mhm.
the same inbound processor. The organizer makes an edit in their normal calendar, changes the time, adds a speaker, maybe sticks a promo offer in the subject line, hit save.
Okay.
That sends the updated invite back to that same email Dropbox address. The ETLs run again, process the changes, and store the new version as the current data.
So it just overwrites the old data or versions of
It effectively updates the current state.
Yeah.
The system knows the latest version.
And canceling if they scrap the event.
Same pathway again. The cancel command comes in via email, it's processed, and the event data is marked canceled.
Marked, not deleted.
Exactly. Critical point. It's never deleted. You keep that full audit trail the history of the event.
All right, so the data's in. It's clean, structured, got its magic API code. But now we need to get it out to people, to the attendees. That's where the marketing side comes in, right?
Yes, this is where it connects to the marketing pipeline. The sources highlight 3 main ways this managed invite gets deployed.
Okay, what are they?
First, email templates. You embed the API directly into call to action buttons in your emails. Think SendGrid, MailChimp, Klaviyo, those platforms.
So instead of just the static add to calendar link that might download an ICS file, the button itself actually calls this API.
Exactly. Much smarter. Second method, web interfaces.
Like landing pages.
Yeah, you can use the API to auto-generate, say, an upcoming events page. It just pulls all the organizer's future event data straight from that S3 bucket, keeps it in chronological order. Super useful.
I can see that. And the third?
Third is embedding the API into custom apps. The Notes had a cool example. A mini app built just for batch sending. Like sending an NFL game invite to a specific V via EVIP list.
Okay, so email, button click, web link, batch app push. Doesn't matter how it starts.
Doesn't matter. They all have to end up in the same place.
Which is?
They all call API 1, the Send Calendar Invite REST endpoint. This is the absolute core of the outbound flow.
Gotcha.
When that endpoint gets hit by the click, the web request, whatever the system uses, that unique API code we talked about to find the stored data.
And this is where that rehydration term comes up in the notes. It's not just forwarding the original file, is it?
No, definitely not. Rehydration means the system isn't trusting some old file or relying on the organizer's personal calendar anymore.
Right.
It uses the stored UID and the latest data version it has in DynamoDB and S3 to build a brand new, perfect, current calendar invite. Right there, on the fly.
Every single time someone clicks that link.
Every single time. It's freshly constructed, independently, ensures accuracy.
Okay, that's clever. And then the moment that fresh invite goes out, the tracking kicks in, turning the calendar into like a marketing tracker.
Precisely. It's like a real-time circuit breaker for engagement. As soon as the invite is sent, the system requests a calendar receipt.
From the recipient's calendar.
Directly from the recipient's downstream calendar client. Google Cal, Outlook, Apple Calendar, whatever they use. It bypasses traditional email opens or clicks.
And gets the actual RSVP status.
Yes, no, maybe. That data flows right back to the API gateway, straight into DynamoDB, remember, built for speed, and bam, it's processed for analytics.
Wow. So the organizer gets this super granular, reliable, instant data.
Yep. They can look at their console, their dashboard, whatever interface is built, and see live RSVP data for all their events. Real conversions, not just delayed email metrics, like tracking those 272 NFL games in real time.
Okay. Creation, distribution, tracking, nailed down. But things change, right? Events get updated after the invite is already out there. How does this architecture handle that, managing the state of the event?
Yes, this is probably the most sophisticated part. It's the third major processor, and it actually involves a kind of re-entry loop back into the system.
How does that work?
So the organizer edits the original event in their native calendar again. Maybe adds a last-minute speaker, changes the time, adds that promo offer we mentioned.
Just hit save like before.
Exactly. That change flows back through the inbound processor, just like the initial creation. The data gets updated in S3 and DynamoDB.
Okay, standard update.
But then it loops back into the outbound processor to be redistributed. And here's where it gets really smart.
How so? It doesn't just blast the update to everyone.
No, that's the key part of the state management logic. Updates are only sent to customers who already got the first invite and responded yes or maybe.
Oh, interesting. So if someone clicked no initially...
The system respects that. It doesn't bother them with updates, keeps the noise down, better experience.
That is smart. But pushing that update, even to the yes or maybe crowd?
Yeah.
That's like starting a new conversation, isn't it? It forces them to look again.
It absolutely does. The updated calendar invite is treated as a new pushed update piece of information.
Right.
And because the core details might have changed time, location, that offer the system requests the receipt again.
So they have to reconfirm?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
They might change their RSVP. Maybe that new promo offer flips a maybe to a definite yes.
Or the opposite, right? If the time change is suddenly inconvenient, a yes could become a no.
That's the inherent risk, yes. Change management always has that potential downside.
So how does the system keep track of all these versions?
That's where the state tracking comes in. It sequences the UID in DynamoDB. Every update gets logged, +1, +2, +3.
So you know which version is which.
Precisely. It's not just for tracking. It's for compliance, for history. You always know exactly what version was sent to whom and when. It maintains that reliable event history.
Makes sense. What about the cancel workflow? Does that also only go to the yes, maybe people?
No, cancellation has to be absolute. If an event is canceled, that flows back through the system.
Okay.
And the cancellation notice is distributed to everyone who received the initial invite, regardless of their RSVP. Yes, no, maybe they all need to know it's off.
Got to make sure everyone gets the message.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And once it's tagged canceled, that's it. No more invites for that UID can ever be sent. It's done.
Is there any safety net? Like, what if someone cancels accidentally?
Ah, good point. There's an optional feature mentioned, a workflow switch.
Me.
Organizers can enable it so that before a major update or critically a cancellation goes out, it requires manual approval, maybe via an API call to a simple GUI or just an email notification saying, hey, approve this cancel.
Ah, human check. Adds a layer of control for high-stakes stuff.
Exactly. A necessary safety mechanism. #tagoutro.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive really uncovered a pretty robust engine running beneath something we usually just click on without thinking.
It's surprisingly complex when you scale it.
So if we step back, inbound processing, outbound distribution and tracking, state management with updates and cancels, what's the big takeaway? What's the cumulative power here for an organization?
I think the power is maintaining that genuine single source of truth for an event. It breaks down the silos you often get between, say, marketing comms and actual event logistics.
Right.
You get real-time state management. You get incredibly granular, accurate tracking directly from the user's calendar across all your channels, email, web, app.
It turns the calendar itself, which is arguably where intent is highest.
Exactly. It turns that native calendar into a measurable, manageable asset.
Which brings us back to that core idea from the sources, that these native calendar invites managed like this are just fundamentally better than the old way.
Oh, absolutely. The old add to calendar button plus a separate RSVP form. That's disconnected.
Yeah, the data's all over the place.
Right. You've got one bit of info maybe in their calendar, another in your CRM from the form, maybe something else from email clicks. It's messy. This integrated stack closes that loop.
Guarantees the data is current. The RSVPs
That's a huge competitive advantage, honestly.
Okay, so final thought then. Something for you, our listeners, to maybe chew on based on that update processor discussion. We established pushing an update, like adding a last-minute promotion, could flip a maybe RSVP to a yes. That's the goal, right? Optimize conversions.
Sure.
But because the system forces a re-RSVP on update, you also run that risk. An inconvenient change, like a time shift, could flip a confirmed yes to a no. So the question is, when you're optimizing for attendance or engagement, is that potential risk of negative RSVP changes actually worth the benefit you might get from those late-stage updates or promotions? Where's the balance?